You ready to go? Good evening. I want to thank you all for your patience. We're ready to get started, and we will be starting with the Committee of Adjustment meeting. I'll call that meeting to order. Note that we have all members of council present through various meetings tonight. Mitch, Pat, Bill, and Robert. From the municipality staff, we have Manuela, Alex, Anders, Sue, Dan, and present here are Kathy and Maury. Is there anybody else from staff that's on? I believe there is. Okay. And we have two guests, John McDonald and Julia Rowe. Move to approve the agenda. We have a resolution.
Moved by Councillor Chason, seconded by Councillor Reese. Resolved that the agenda for the Committee of Adjustment meeting scheduled for Tuesday, April 6, 2021 be approved.
All in favor? Aye. That's carried. Thank
Aye.
you. Thank you. There are no announcements. Declaration of pecuniary interests. Hearing none, we'll move to the approval of the minutes from March 16th, the resolution.
Moved by Councillor Tate, seconded by Councillor Hatfield. Resolved that the following minutes of the Municipality Walla Committee of Adjustment be adopted as presented. Minutes of a Committee of Adjustment meeting held on Tuesday, March 16, 2021 is contained on pages 1 to 3, inclusive of the minute book.
Are there any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
It's carried. Thank you. Nothing under old business. Under new business 7.1, approve the actions of the Secretary Treasurer. We have a resolution.
Moved by Councillor Reese, seconded by Councillor Chason. Resolved that the Municipality of Walla Committee of Adjustment does hereby approve the actions of the Secretary Treasurer with respect to the notification of the following applicant. Bill? I was just going to ask him to move. A2-21, Miss Julia Rowe for a minor variance to zoning by 1-15 as amended respecting 674F Highway 101 described as Plan M141 Lot 5 Parcel 509 Mishbegotten in the Municipality of Walla to increase floor area from 22.3 meters squared to 71.5 meters squared for a detached accessory storage building property.
Any questions? All in favor? See a couple of hands. That makes 3. That's carried. Thank you. 7.2, we have a resolution for the application for a minor variance, A-2/21, Miss Julia Rowe, 674-F Highway 101.
So I'll read the motion.
Yes.
Moved by Councillor Hatfield, seconded by Councillor Tate. Resolved that application number A2-21 submitted by Miss Julia Rowe for a minor variance to increase the gross floor area from 22.3 meters squared to 71.5 meters squared for a detached accessory storage building on the subject property located at 674F Highway 101 be and is hereby granted conditional to the following. 1, the accessory storage building shall not be used for human habitation or occupation for gain. 2, any application to further expand the accessory building, structures, and uses shall require a zoning amendment.
There was a report. Maury was going to comment on the report.
Thank you. And on behalf of Kevin Sabarin, who has a fire training session tonight, Council was provided a report, and just a couple of items to note is that this property previously underwent a zoning bylaw amendment 1975-07, which did approve the subject land for use of a detached accessory storage building on the property. The minor variance application today is to expand the size of the originally approved building size. With respect to the Ministry of Natural Resources and any concerns regarding the size of the building being located within the 300-meter recommended setback of Wawa Lake, they had replied that they have no concerns and no comments, and are not providing any objections to this application being approved. We reviewed the provincial policy statement, the official plan, the general intent and purpose of this application with our land use planning rules and bylaws. And after review, Kevin and myself are recommending that council approve this application subject to the condition which you've heard. The conditions that, because the size of the structure, that should there ever be another application regarding this particular property to expand the size of any accessory dwellings, that it be a zoning bylaw amendment rather than a minor variance application, that it would not be considered minor in the future, but rather a major alteration to the land. So based on the fact that the land use is not being changed, that this meets the test for minor variance, and that we have some conditions, staff is in favor of the application. There were no public comments for or against the application.
Thank you. Are there any comments from the council? Hearing none, I'll call the question. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. So the Kevin will be in touch with Julia to pass on any information. They're still the same 20 days, 21 period. Okay.
Did you want to invite Julia to?
Julia, did you have a comment or anything you want to make before we close this meeting?
Yes. Thank you very much. And I had talked to Kevin about this in the process of writing up the application. Part of the reason why I have requested this is that my parents are going to be 2 new Wawa residents as of May 1st, as they're moving into the brand new seniors building. So thank you very much. And yeah, we got 2 more people moving to Wawa.
Thank you. And Kevin will be in touch. I imagine you'll be in touch with him with regards to other permits, etc. So thank you, Julia. And you'll have to introduce us to your parents, and we'll welcome them to Wawa. Thank you. So move now to adjourn. We have a resolution.
Moved by Councillor Reese, resolved that this meeting close at 6:57 p.m.
All in favor? It's carried. Thank you. I'll next call the Corporate Planning Committee meeting to order at 6:58. Are there any in terms of attendance, we still have all 4 councillors. Staff, we have Kathy Maury, Manuela, Alex, Anders, Sue, Dan, and our guest, John McDonald, is present on the line. Disclosure of pecuniary interests. Hearing none, we'll move to approval of the agenda. We have a mover. Moved by Mitch, that we approve the agenda. All in favor? It's carried. Item 4, delegation. We will start with an update on the school safety zone project from Telec Engineering, and I believe John McDonald will be speaking to this. So John, if you're ready, Kathy will set you up here.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of council. Hopefully everybody can hear me just fine.
Yes.
Great. Kathy, I assume that I just share my screen.
Yes.
Okay. I'm hoping that's up on everybody's screens. Please let me know if it isn't.
It's perfect.
Well, knock on wood, that something's working for me today, so that's great. Thank you very much, everybody, for having me back for this, for the update on where we're at with the project. Again, I want to thank Mr. Beach for his continued assistance, especially during the public open house. His presence was greatly appreciated, especially addressing some of the operational questions that we'll get to coming up here shortly. I just wanted to again reiterate a few things and quickly go through the environmental assessment process. We have again gone through the proposed works, scope of work, and we have concluded that what we are proposing is a Schedule A. Therefore, Schedule A projects are exempt from Part 2 of the Environmental Assessment Act, which is formally called a bump up or Part 2 order. We tended to think of these as pre-approved projects, but in reality, it's actually they're exempt from Part 2. Part of the process of Schedule A Plus is public consultation and advising them of what the project is. We have met or exceeded that in a number of ways, and I will get to that. Again, just kind of reiterating that we have concluded that this is a Schedule A Plus. It is a defined project within the schedules listed in the MEA document, with the addition of reduction of cycling lanes, no change to cross section or road capacity. I hope you don't mind. I am going to go through this somewhat quickly as we've seen this the prior presentation. Schedule A Plus projects, phase 1 is actually an optional step, and phase 5 is implementation. In a nutshell, where we're at, we've completed identifying the problem or opportunity. The municipality is a recipient of a generous grant and funding opportunity. We've completed the discretionary public consultation process. We've identified various alternative solutions to the problem. We've held discussions with city staff and your respective selves in open council. We've confirmed the project schedule, as I alluded to before, and confirmed that it is a Schedule A Plus project. We're here tonight seeking approval of the preliminary design to proceed to detailed design of the layout. So this is the approved, and provided that it is approved tonight, we will proceed and complete contract documents and tender documents and proceed to the tendering process. Again, as part of the Schedule A Plus consultation requirements, the proposed consultation plan when we initiated this process was presentations of preliminary design to council. We previously completed that back in March. We have tweaked the design, which you will see, and we've also incorporated some of the public comments that have come back, which we'll get to again. So that presentation to council has been completed. We're back again. Stakeholder meeting and preliminary design with school boards has been completed. The public open house is completed, and we have reached out to the First Nations in the area. We have not had return correspondence as of yet, but we are still following up with this, and we will keep staff advised of our progress. I'm pleased to say that the public information session that we had on March 17th was very productive. It was well attended. It was the manner in which it was conducted was very good by bringing people in at defined times worked very well. In the age of COVID, it wasn't all at once. It was well spaced out. In my opinion, people had adequate time to discuss the project with us. Some people obviously took longer and some people needed less time, but other than that, I thought it went very well. Generally, I want to say that the mood or the atmosphere and the general opinion of the project was very supportive. People are very understanding that yes, construction does come with inconvenience short term, but the long term benefits are well received. One thing which is inevitable and happens with every open house is there's always some clarification required of what is part of the project, what is municipal operational issues such as snow plowing, which is to my benefit beyond the scope, and unfortunately to Mr. Beach, he has to deal with some of those questions and answers, as well as work with on and changes to private property, such as the school boards and the school properties. Those are private properties. Those are beyond the scope of this project, and also beyond the scope of the funding. But generally, things were very well received. Some of the I've taken the liberty of condensing the comments received into many of them were repetitive. So I've taken the liberty of doing that. And just to summarize, Churchill Avenue residents, 2 of them attended and provided a comment that they wanted to maintain the parking on the roadway. And also there was no stopping on the east side of Churchill was important to them as well. The reduction in speed limit within the area was very well received, and that was across the board. Everybody was extremely happy that the 40 kilometers an hour was proposed. We did receive a comment suggesting extension of the school zone to include the intersection of Churchill and Hillcrest. And a number of attendees raised the issue of grading along Arnott to address the transition from the roadway over the sidewalk and into the driveway, that there was some grading and drainage issues in that area. As well as one business owner raised concern or potential problem opportunity to address some drainage issues in the corner of Park Hill. There were suggestions that Boyer Street was suggested to be designed as a bus drop-off pickup area for all school zones. And it was also suggested that Boyer Street be converted to a one-way street running east or west-east. It was pointed out Boyer Street needs 2 crosswalks, and the suggestion was to see that property be bought off the high school to build an island for high school kids to get on the bus. Again, I've removed the operational comments such as sidewalk plowing, items of that nature from the comments, as that is beyond the scope of what I am here for tonight. This is another slide that was presented in the initial meeting that we had. This is just the general scope of work of what we are doing for construction. Churchill, Spruce, Grace, Park Hill, Darwin, the school zone area. We've reviewed changing Boyer into a load-unload zone for schools during specified hours. We've had discussions with the school boards with that respect. We've reviewed the bicycle lanes and the SEMA report, which suggested the changes to all these changes that are proposed within the school zone area. We are currently in the process of reviewing best method and materials, including quantities for removal of existing asphalt, curb gutter, drainage, pedestrian crossing signs, catch basin lids. That is actually essentially done. We've had multiple communication with Mr. Beach and his public works staff about your current city standards. We've talked to local contractors in the area with respect to gravel and asphalt types that are easily and readily produced up in that area. We've reviewed the traffic study from SEMA, and we'll get into a little bit more of that. And we've reviewed signage placement for intersection crosswalks, etc. Again, I'm presenting just generally the overall scope of work and what we're looking at. And we've been through all this before, but I'm going, in the next few slides, I'm going to highlight a few of the key changes that have arisen from the first meeting. There's not many, but they are worth noting. The Churchill Avenue cross section, based on comments from council, we're maintaining the parking lane. The distance between the curbs is not changing. With line painting alone, we were able to get the 2 3.5 meter travel lanes, 2 bike lanes, and we're adding the sidewalk on the east side. So we've reverted back to the original recommendation within the traffic study. In terms of Boyer Street, again, we've held another round of discussions with the school boards. Actually, I had a meeting this morning with one of them. And this is generally what has been kind of agreed upon and set on, is maintaining a 2-way traffic on Boyer Street, providing a bus lay-by zone, maintaining the driveway exit and this parking lot instead of strictly just Arnott Avenue. The bump outs have been incorporated to ensure adequate sight lines. We are still in discussions with the Algoma District School Board in terms of making this additional crosswalk here work. This is going to be reverted to a stop-controlled intersection with Arnott, with a crosswalk connecting to the Michigan High School. There are a few problems with this right now, which will be hashed out in detailed design, such as location of a pole. There's a catch basin, which makes AODA compliance somewhat difficult, and a couple anchors. But we feel strongly with a little creative curb work and radiuses, we can actually bring that intersection up to a design standard and get a crosswalk over to Michigan High School. However, at this time, there is no sidewalk proposed. It would just connect in. Again, sorry, I guess I didn't click fast enough. There's discussions ongoing at school board. Based on we had a review of the SEMA Plus report, and this was discussed or brought up a few times of designated Boyer Street. The pickup drop-off zone can be completed at any time for specific time periods by council resolution. Within our, there'd be no change to the tender or construction drawings. Council would pass a resolution, and then there'd be some time set up that would define this as a school zone pickup and drop off area. I'd be more than pleased to provide Mr. Beach additional information on this, on how this is accomplished in terms of signage, and how the municipality may go about it, as there is a few options available for your consideration. But in terms of curb work and alignment, nothing would really change. This proposed configuration is not recommended for conversion to one-way traffic. The one-way street was also not recommended in the SEMA Plus report for various reasons. However, should you want to pursue this matter, one of our recommendations would be engage SEMA Plus or a traffic consultant to detail review, and then this conversion can be made in the future by passing of council resolution. Again, arising out of our original meeting, Magpie Road, we are maintaining the original cross section with no bike lanes. We've had a review of the funding agreement, and this is permitted. It's still within a defined school zone, which is the test with the improvements. So this reverts back, and parking can be maintained as it is now. And as it so happens, the last time I was up there, I was at the same time that there was additional problems with the Arnott Street sewer, which essentially services the schools. That was always originally slated for replacement. However, we've in discussions with Mr. Beach and Public Works staff, is we are actually going to do the addition of a backup sewer which ties into Ross Street. These two sewers of Ross Street and Arnott, and due to Magpie and Mission Road, are extremely flat. And there is no way to get our sewers steeper, because we have to tie in at an elevation equal to or higher than the existing sewers on Magpie or Mission, Ross, sorry, in this instance. And there's currently already a freezing problem with the sewers. So shallowing them up at one end in order to get fall is not an option, as well as we have to tie into the existing sewer inverts that come out from the schools. So we are upsizing the sewers to 10-inch diameters, which will allow proper flushing and camera work to occur. We are adding an additional center manhole for additional maintenance access. The sewers will be insulated, and they will be PVC. So those are the upgrades that we can propose. There's not much else we can do unless we went to a pump station for the schools, and that is not recommended due to the operations and maintenance requirements and cost that upgrade would require. Arising out of public comments, we are going to review our options during detailed design for perhaps potentially adjusting the curb grade on the east side of Arnott, or the grading of the sidewalk and adding some catch basin, etc., to fix the steep transition from the roadway over the sidewalks into the driveways of these residents. We're somewhat limited to how far back we can go on private property, but that sidewalk is slated for replacement, so we do have an opportunity to fix the grading. Similarly, there's a drainage problem at this corner. The business owner here has approached us at the open house to discuss options. So we will be working with him and Mr. Beach to potentially improve this area and some grading that we can. And that might be as simple as just profile milling. Based on, we've grabbed additional topo survey of the area, and we feel we can improve this area somewhat. And that would also help out this business owner here of the hotel. That is essentially the gist of where we're at. Nothing else has changed from our original proposal. Complete the shave and pave of asphalt, replacement of curb and gutter, the pedestrian crossovers, the school zone signage, the no parking signs, those all remain the same. We have made the design changes as noted here in this presentation tonight. And again, we're here tonight seeking resolution to prepare to detail design and tendering. And this actually concludes the Class EA process, and as we proceed. Just some anticipated timelines. Should council give us the okay, we would like to be out for tender April 30th to advertise, provide contractors a 3-week bidding period, and come back to council with a tender report and recommendation for award just after the May long weekend. With that, construction would be anticipated to start June 1st. Now that would be essentially signing of contract documents, and then they would be ordering material. You wouldn't actually see anything on site for another week or 2 or 3 weeks while materials coming in. Speaking with the school boards, the various school boards, it's extremely important that any work on Arnott and Boyer be completed during the summer break. So we would have to put clauses and stipulations within the construction contract, along with a incentive/penalty clause for them to complete that work in that specified timeline. We've reviewed the scope of work. We've gone through the dollar figures and just essentially the timing and how everything is. We do not believe, or it would be prudent, that we write into the contract that the contractor should finish all the work this year. They likely could, but that is a very big job for 1 year. We think you would probably get better pricing if you allowed a 2-year construction period, especially given the underground work and the condensed timeframes that is involved with Arnott and Boyer. Therefore, we would shut down October 15th. That's generally when the asphalt plants and the weather kind of starts to turn on us. We want to make sure everything's buttoned up for the winter by that period, and resume June 1st. We don't feel it would take an entire second construction season. But having said that, just running through the construction scenario or sequencing on our end here, we would generally expect the only outstanding work to be done in 2022 would actually be the actual milling and paving of the roads, with the exception of Boyer and Arnott, which would be repaved. That work itself, the shaving and the paving, is probably only 3, 4, 5 weeks in duration. But that's highly dependent on when they can actually get the milling machine in from wherever it is in the province. There is a demand for that. So yes, the construction may commence June 1st, but they may not be able to get the milling machine in until end of August. Therefore, that 3, 4, 5 weeks would occur then. We would specify that the substantial completion date be September 30th, final completion date October 15th, and therefore the 12-month warranty period would be 1 year from that. It would be a 12-month warranty period. And at such time, October 2023, we'd do the final walkthrough, create the deficiency list, and everything would be buttoned up. And that's all I have. I'd be more than happy to provide, to answer anybody's questions.
I will open it up to questions. I just want to acknowledge that you certainly did an excellent job of dealing with some of the concerns that was raised by council at the initial meeting with you. And as well, it looks like your consultation with the various interest groups on this project went well, and you've addressed some of their issues. So I'm just going to throw it open to anybody on council that may have a question with regards to what John presented to us tonight.
Yeah, I'll go first, Mayor.
Pat?
I'm not on board with no bike lanes on Magpie Avenue. I don't know why we can't do the same as on Churchill. Park on one side. There's plenty of big enough lots there along that street, and that's only a short half-mile street. So that's just my one comment. And I think on Boyer, there was a crosswalk at both ends, the north and the south.
I'm sorry, Councillor, I missed that.
On Boyer, there was a crosswalk both on north and south end of that street, eh?
That is correct.
Because you still have that issue with when the buses are there, the kids coming out and crossing to the high school.
Yes. Yes, no, we recognize and that there is no one solution that fits everything.
Unless you shut that thing down for 2 hours.
Which
at the
can be
beginning
done.
of the day at school, at the end.
Which can be done by council resolution and signage. Enforcement would also be a consideration.
Yeah, no, there's a lot that goes with it more than that. Anyway, that's my 2 comments.
Okay, thank you, Pat. Anybody else have a comment, question for John?
Hi, Mr. Mayor.
Yes, Robert, go ahead.
I just wanted to second what Pat was saying. I think there should be bike lanes on Magpie as well. That's all I wanted to add.
Okay. How about Mitch or Bill? How do you feel about the bike lanes on Magpie? So the bike lane, the idea there is that the bike lanes would create a complete circle so that you could go down Churchill to Magpie, all the way to Mission Road, and then down Mission Road to Churchill. There basically would be a bike lane to allow that circuit.
It'll be on both sides.
Sorry, Bill, did you say you're in favor?
Yeah, go ahead with it. I lost
Okay.
out there for one thing here.
Mitch, how do you feel about it?
Well, this is about the 3rd time that I've been told the bike lanes will be on Magpie. So, yes, I would like
There's
to
some
see.
on the lower part of Magpie, across from the high school, I understand. This was whether we continue with the bike lane towards Mission Road on the right-hand side, which would mean there'd be no parking, I guess if you're heading east or south on Magpie, on the right-hand side. Anybody that lives on that side, if the bike lane is there, they would have no on-street parking on that side of the of Magpie. They either have to park in their driveway or across the street.
Well, I've wanted to see the bike lanes in since the start, so I'm going to say if John can do it, that would be good.
Okay, so I think, John, you've got a lot of support from council to extend the bike lanes all the way down to Mission Road on Magpie. Now, John, we do not have a resolution ready for tonight, but if there is support from council, we could have a verbal resolution basically approving the plan so that John can get to work on the all of the designs and get this ready to go out to tender. Would someone from council be willing to move and second that resolution at the regular in a few minutes?
I would be able to, Mayor.
Okay, so we will go ahead with that during the regular. And if there are no further questions for anyone, John, want to thank you very much for your presentation tonight. Sorry, Kathy has a question.
Sorry, John, I just want to clarify that when you were asking for a resolution, you were just asking council to grant permission to proceed with the detailed drawings and tendering for the school zone project. And it would now conclude the Class EA requirements?
Yes.
Is that what it was?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so we'll include
just for the information of
in
council.
the verbal.
I'm sorry, Mr. Mayor.
Sorry, you broke up.
The official resolution is for awarding the tender is actually sufficient. I was just seeking essentially the preliminary design buy-in so we could go to detailed design.
All right, thank you. Okay, well, that will conclude the presentation. Thanks again, John, and staff will be in touch for the next steps. Appreciate it very much.
Thank you very much, everyone.
Good night. Okay, we'll move to item 4.2, and that's our new municipal website. And we've got Anders and Anders is going to do most of that presentation for us tonight. So Anders, if you're ready to go, whatever needs to be done, we'll do right now.
Sounds good. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Can everyone hear me good?
Yes, we can.
Yep.
Okay. So first, thank you for the opportunity to share what we've been working on for the last 4 months. Tonight, I'm going to show you a preview what the new accessible and easy to use website for the municipality, which was built in partnership with eSolutions, will look like. As most of you know, this project included a new website to replace our current one, which was built as a bridge when our past one was hacked and unsalvageable back in the fall time. We have already started the pre-go live process and will be fully live tomorrow around noon. Excuse me. This project, it actually demonstrated a very strong and dedicated team that we do have, with the writing, design, and implementation all the way to our launch today. Stacy, Heather, Linda, Kathy, they were all instrumental and amazing to work with, and a huge shout out to Sue, who went above and beyond to get us to where we are today. So to those, I say thank you. We met every week at 10 in the morning, tirelessly try to get this to where we are today. So I will showcase a few of the things that we have put together for you. The website design incorporates a look and feel that is more progressive, modern, and forward thinking. And we're introducing a brand new look as well as functionality. We have prominent search navigations up, get it there, up in the I want to, where we can look at replying, pay, get involved. Drop-down menus allow easy access to all information on the site. Landing pages such as licenses, permits, business and development, taxes, provide visual calls to action that help all residents and staff easily locate the information that they need. Page, we do have a feedback link, which is all the way at the bottom here. So one click pops up, send any type of comment or concern with ease. And that is on every page that we have. Report a concern is another one. It's one click. And it allows a click of the form. When it loads. As an example, here's the form, and when submitted, it will go to the appropriate contact. All the content on this website, go back to the home. All the content on this website is either new or updated. Every word was rewritten, that is, so it is accessible and web friendly, meaning visitors can easily skim and scan it for what the information that they need. All staff had training to how to write high quality and accessible web content, so they're able to continue to do this. But however, some key content was written by eSolutions professionals to help us do some of the hard stuff. This is accessible to everyone, regardless of ability or device, such as screen readers for those with visual impairments, or Android or iPhone phones, iPads, etc. This also complies with the accessibility for Ontarians with disabilities and conforms with the WCAG 2 level, which is web content accessibility guidelines. So let's go into it. So a few things to highlight here. We do have a contact module under your government. So side note right now, as we are in the process of going live, eSolutions is doing a little bit of work to transition us. So some of these may not work today. Now, unfortunately, like we said, we tested it at 1:30 and everything was fine. A to Z services, easy access to. Allows anyone to quickly look for what they're looking for, select it, and it will bring you to another is the bylaw module that we've created. Shows all our bylaws, all our frequently requested bylaws. You're able to select out of the 5 categories. It brings you to the most frequently ones in there, and we're able to click on one, and it will bring us to that appropriate bylaw. Experience WAWA. This was our tourism, and we went with Experience WAWA to coincide with our current branding. And those are the things to do. It's a one-stop for all things a visitor would really want, highlighted by calls to actions. That's what these boxes are here. Each opens up into a breakdown of activities or things to do when planning a stay in WAWA, as example. And this one includes a photo gallery of people playing on snow machines. Gives you the ability to pause. Another key feature was our history and heritage. This was with help from our local historian, Johanna Rowe. And our team was able to highlight WAWA with another 6 different calls to action boxes. And they are down here as well. We have Indigenous, fur traders, mining and logging, Mishpicot Maritime History, Trans-Canada and the Wild Goose, and the Group of 7. And again, if you were to click in any one of these, it would open up some WAWA's history within this. These accordions open up, give her a little brief breakdown. Some have pictures of the old past. And stuff like this is all in all of those accordions of the calls to action that are located right here. Another little highlight is we're able to highlight available land for sale to help promote WAWA a bit. We have a list of commercial, industrial, and residential sites within sale. And if there are any tax sales, they will be listed in here. And any of these links here bring you out to a map that highlights properties for sale and their locations. News and alerts. This providing visitors, it's ability for visitors to actually subscribe to news feeds based on their needs and interests using a compliant subscription form. So what that is that if there's any sites or any pages or news that you'd like, a user is able to subscribe, and when a news item gets posted, they will get an email or a text notification saying that there's updated news for them to look. We have the ability to search on our site to help promote what is being what's trending on our website due to analytics, and that actually be something we can start looking into the minute we go live. The more what we see with analytics, we're able to put this in the trending up here. We have a calendar of events, community calendar, so you can click on what's coming up, bring you to the calendar, and it'll show you all the dates and times. Here's a calendar again. Click on any one of these, and it'll bring you to the details of what's going on. And residents do have the ability to add, but they have to email us, and we, Stacy or someone at the community center has to approve it first, and then it can go live. No, residents just can't submit their own events on here. They have to be approved by us. And we do have a link in the calendar that goes from community events linked out to council. That brings us to the civic web to see what's on the civic web for upcoming council events. A nice feature with our new website is form builder. So getting residents to using forms online, submitting forms online, and even paying online. This is an example of the open air burning application. We are in the process of testing this in the next few days, but this is what a form will technically look like. This is basically the PDF forms that we build on the back end, and residents are able to fill it out, submit it, and this as well will go to the appropriate individuals at Town Hall. Another really interesting feature is the bids and tenders. This provides staff with the ability to manage the bid posting processes from start to finish and accept online registrations and submissions from vendors.
Vendors, it's Kathy.
Yes.
Where the screen is not changing, we're just looking at the main screen with the things to do.
Oh, okay.
So when you tried to talk about the form builder and the fire permits, that's when we were unable to see any changes from the screen.
Oh, okay. So you're still, okay. Can you, what are you seeing right now, Kathy?
We are currently seeing report a problem or report a concern. Welcome, we want to hear from you.
Now you can just see the things to do?
Yes.
Okay, thanks.
You're welcome.
So the bids and tenders, I'll go there. I was just talking about. This is our bids and tenders page. So if we, as staff, when we have projects, capital projects, we're able to put these out on here and vendors can log in and subscribe and view all the details of each project that's being offered, such as the Churchill project. They can bid, read, and at the end of this, after the submissions are closed, it actually does score each tender on criteria that we can set. It does not mean we have to take it, but it does help the scoring process. I don't have an account, so I won't log in, but many companies have accounts and are familiar with this process as we are all as we go forward. So that's kind of the different things that we have in our website. We do still have under living here, as you can see, a lot of information that we would want to be if we're living here, such as property taxes. It gives us all the information that we need on property taxes, payment options, lets residents here know where and how we can pay. Hot topic is the water meters. Again, showing us how to pay, water bill dates, and information on our water meters. Things to do. This is recreation, tourism. We have leisure activities, recreation programs. And again, all these go into different areas where residents or visitors can find the information they're looking for. So on that point, this is our website in a nutshell. And if there are any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Anders, that was a wonderful presentation. Great job. And again, we extend our thanks to you and to all the staff who worked with you for that. I will throw it open to questions if anyone here in this room or your council have any questions or comments. Welcome to hear from you.
Yeah, I'd just like to say that's well done. Good job.
Thanks, Councillor.
Thanks, Pat.
I have a question there.
Yes, go ahead, Mitch.
Anders, who's going to keep this website up?
Staff will be. Myself, Sue, Stacy, Linda. We all had training on how to maintain this, and we do have support from our eSolutions if we ever do get in a pickle.
Oh, very good. Well done. Thank you.
I just got one comment, if I may.
Yeah.
Yes, Bill, go ahead.
Just want to congratulate you, Mayor, on your staff and Maury and Kathy and all the people that worked so hard to get this up and running. I'm very proud to be a council member today to see all that hard work going into the system. Thank you so much. And I think council is agreeable on that part. Thank you.
I think so. Very nice words, Bill. Thank you for your comments.
Thank you.
If there are no further comments, Anders, we wish you luck as you and Sue, who I know was in here with you almost all those mornings with your launch tomorrow. I'm sure it won't necessarily go perfect. You'll have a few things to iron out, but it looks like you're really ready to go and have the technical support with the company we're dealing with to make sure that it is very successful. And certainly, I think what all of us can do whenever we're around other people is to comment on our website, encourage people to go on it and to look at it. And I think the ability to communicate with City Hall, so to speak, through the website is extremely important. Filling out those forms, making a comment, report low-flying airplanes over the community this week, that kind of thing. It's great to see that, and so we thank you very much. I'm sure it helped you get through that winter, staying so busy doing this. We started it last fall almost, and it's great. You're right on schedule. You said you'd be ready to have this near the end of March, and it's excellent. So again, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Anders, could I just ask how many pages we had to develop?
We have a little over 160. I think it may be about 165 pages.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
You guys did a fabulous job. Thank you.
And it's a living document, so we're still really not finished. So.
Super. Okay, well, thank you. That was 2 great presentations, lots of good news for our town. So moving right on, item number 5, adoption of minutes. We have moved by Robert to adopt the minutes of our Tuesday, March 16th meeting. All in favor? 1, 2,
Aye.
3. Okay, that's carried. Thank you. There's no business arising from the previous meeting. Under new business 7.1, we have a report for March from Dan. Dan, did you wish to comment on anything in particular from your report? Oh, we lost Dan?
We lost it.
Okay. Are there any questions council may have? If you do, Maury can relay them to Dan with regards to his reports. Fairly straightforward on operations through the month of March. They certainly had a head start on spring and spring cleaning going well. Town is starting to look good. We're picking up a lot of that winter sand, and we'll be out cutting grass before we know it. 7 is a memo, and in that memo, with regards to some of the vegetation control by the power company out near the Tremblay Flats Cemetery, wish to trim the trees to basically give the area a bit of cover as opposed to taking down all the trees. And Dan was looking for direction from council to have them just do that, do the trimming as opposed to start taking down trees. So how does council feel about that? Do we have an okay to say, go ahead and do it that way as outlined in the memo? Yes,
Yeah, Mayor,
yes,
it's Pat here.
yes, Pat.
Yeah, Dan, I think they could do that a couple ways. I mean, cut the trees down and just leave them 8 feet high and you'd still have your posts. Or remove the trees and then put some barriers up, like in posts. Because I know I know how they're fussy about being near the hydro lines. They don't like the trees near the hydro lines.
I think they've trimmed them in the past, and the idea here is basically to, not too many people know about that cemetery. It's kind of a historical thing, and we just don't want to have some passerby say, well, there's a good place to go ride my dirt bike or something like that. So they thought leaving the trees up would just give it a bit more privacy back there to keep people off the property. That was the main.
I'm good with that.
And I believe, and I don't know if Bill wishes to comment on this, I think the cemetery committee has also made that recommendation to do it that way as well. Is that correct, Bill?
Yes, that's what we did. Yes, thank you, Ron, for that.
Okay. So I think we'll just let them work it out, Pat. The cemetery committee has ideas. I don't think we need to give more direction here. They've done this in the past and we'll follow through. And Bill can report back to us at a future council meeting as to how the work got done. Is that okay with council?
Okay.
No objections, we'll go ahead with that. 7.3 is the draft operating budget for 2021. There was 160 some pages there you can look at. There's a test coming up now.
Just
comment from CEO. Go ahead, Maureen.
thank you. Sorry, Mayor. Just this is carried forward from our last presentation to council. Just with a verbal update that we only received one comment from the public so far, and basically it was to congratulate council for the presentation made and the effort that's being made to keep property tax increases low. And we will, on our new website, still continue to invite public comment, but at this time, this is just a copy of what was previously sent to council with the view that we would bring this forward at the April 20th regular meeting for approval of council.
Okay. Are there any questions from council? If not, we'll move down to the draft schedule of fees. Is there anything you need to highlight there in terms of the fees? Fees are, you know, you have to remember what the fees were from the previous year. So it's your help here in identifying any areas that have changed.
Certainly, and I could provide to council the schedule of fees from last year, but what's presented tonight is what we're recommending for 2021. Some fees have not been increased. Some fees have been increased equivalent to COLA, so about 2%, and then some fees have been increased much more than that. So staff looked by department at the fees they're responsible for. So what you have in front of you is a recommendation for the fees, which would come into effect again after council approved on April 20th for the remainder of the year. Some of the fees that have not changed that will be coming forward via report from Alex Patterson with respect to things like the marina. So at this time, the schedule fees are in front of council for review and comment, but they do not include any increases at this time to the marina fees. Alex is still reviewing with comparable municipalities the fees charged at other marinas and getting input from his committee. So there'll be a report coming to council on April 20th about the marina fees. As well, Alex needs some extra time to look at the curling fees. So there are some specific parts of the fees and schedule that haven't been addressed, but will be addressed in the future, because obviously council can change the schedule fees at any time. But what you have tonight, Mayor, is and council is a recommendation on the various fees in the municipality, with some not being increased at all because we've felt the rates being charged were fair at this time, and some increased more because we compared with other municipalities. So I'll just summarize like that. And if council has any comment, invite, of course, council to ask any questions at any time and have a look at the fees, because we won't bring them back until April 20th for council consideration.
Okay, thank you. I'll ask you to check through those. Item 7.5 and 7.6, Maureen's going to speak to both of those. They deal with issues related to the OPP. So Maureen, you can go ahead.
Thank you. The first item is the municipal partnership that's possible in municipal council supporting the development of a new OPP regional detachment for the Superior East OPP. In my memo, to summarize, I had a presentation provided to myself and the mayor and Councillor Tate with Infrastructure Ontario to go over the options available to municipalities who wish to support the development of an OPP detachment in their community. There has been many ways to approach this, but the message that we had to receive was that if we would like a new OPP detachment, if the municipality shows a willingness to be a partner, rather than waiting maybe 10 years plus for a new detachment, it would certainly expedite the process if the municipality played a part in a partnership to build a new detachment. So the three options that the Infrastructure Ontario, and that's the corporation developed by the province that's responsible for building new buildings. We aren't dealing directly with the OPP, we are actually dealing with Infrastructure Ontario. The three ways that Municipal Council could consider offering its support and doing something to expedite a new detachment in our region would be the following. Number one, to consider contributing land. So some land for the province to build its new detachment through its own Ontario government crown construction process. So council has the option to donate land to the process. Number two, council could consider contributing and building the base of an OPP detachment itself. So council could fund what I call the exterior of a building and pay and construct and take control of developing that for the OPP, where the province would be responsible for building the interior of the building and then entering into a lease agreement with the municipality for a long period of time to pay back that initial construction. At the time of the presentation in January, I believe they were estimating that to do an outer shell of an OPP detachment would be roughly $300 per square foot for a 15,000 square foot detachment. So roughly at a cost of about $4.5 million. So council would fund it, build it, and then lease back the building shell. The third option would be for council to build the entire detachment, the outside and the inside, according to OPP specifications, and again, fund the whole construction, own the building, and then negotiate a long-term lease with the OPP for the space. The initial capital cost estimates are around $10 million plus dollars for that. So there are three ways that municipalities can indicate to the province and Infrastructure Ontario that it wants to have a partnership in building a detachment. At this time, as staff reviewed those options, reviewed our finances, and reviewed the way that the province is moving forward with new detachments, tonight we're making a recommendation that council of an OPP detachment at this time by donating or contributing land to the project. We reviewed the land owned by the municipality, and there is not a lot of space at the municipality that could accommodate a 15,000 square foot building and parking and storage. But the one property that the municipality owns is part of the Tourist Information Center land. There is area between the end of the Tourist Information Center and the M&R. The municipality owns a large parcel of property in between the Tourist Information Center and the M&R on Mission Road Highway 101. And it would be very suitable for an OPP detachment. The detachment's close to the highway. It's away from the residential and busy areas of the community or the town site itself. It's an area that there hasn't been a high demand for. It is treed. The back of the property has a significant drop off in elevation, but the front of the property would be suitable. So we could say that this property, which is also zoned properly, could be donated for an OPP detachment and indicate that to the government. The municipality would have to survey the site, negotiate that this would be suitable to the OPP, that is one way we could indicate support. I would conclude my report by saying that in terms of option 2 and 3, which are still possibilities for the municipality at this time, we're not recommending that we look at financing an OPP detachment, although there could be some money to be made by the municipality in the long term, as a long-term lease could cover the cost of construction and then add monies to our coffers. At this time, it does appear that the government of Ontario is going to follow suit in what it did 2 years ago and fund itself through its own crown construction new OP detachments. Like, for example, in August 2018, they built 9 new OPP detachments with the government's own resources, including in Marathon and Little Curran. And we believe that the government should pursue that method at this time. Now, if that doesn't happen, certainly council could look at building, constructing, and financing an OPP detachment in the future. But at this time, it's not a recommendation because we don't want to limit our borrowing capacity as the municipality, of which this could do for other projects that we may want to fund in the future. So in conclusion, I would recommend that council accept staff's recommendation to, at this time, offer the municipal owned property at the location I described between the TIC Center and the M&R office, subject to a first right of refusal for the OPP, and offering in a legal agreement with the province if they would accept.
Are there any questions or comments from council?
Just got one for Maury, if I may, Mayor.
Go ahead, Bill.
Maury, when you talk about the OPP moving into the town center, would that eliminate their office out in the highway completely?
Yes, it would, Bill. They would actually amalgamate the detachment that's on Pinewood Drive. That would move to a new detachment, and the area that is being used in the municipal town hall, so the area at 40 Broadway under council chambers that the OPP is using now, that would also be amalgamated into a new detachment. So both locations would be emptied.
Thank you very much for that, Maury.
And the location here at Town Hall, we may have to make a decision about that even before they go ahead and build a new detachment, because there's no point in renovating this building unless we know exactly how we're going to utilize that space. One of the options is to move both the council chambers and court to the lower level so that it'll be easily accessible, and then converting this current space that we're in right now to offices. That's something that could be part of the study of any renovations at City Hall here. So that ties in a way with the OPP, but they've told us if we have an issue, we need to move forward to go ahead and we'll just deal with this, because their time frame could be up to 8 years before the new one. So we can't wait 8 years. We need to make this building accessible. So that discussion is going to come forward. But in terms of coming forward with a resolution supporting the recommendation from the CEO to donate land, do we basically have support of council to be able to do that?
Can I just make a comment first?
Yeah, go ahead.
And I just want to piggyback a little bit on what you're saying, Mayor, because it's the absolute truth. This is a little bigger picture than just building them a new detachment. We need room for our growth in this town, and I think that's a part of supporting them to go on their own and build a building. So yes, I'm in favor of option 1, donating the land.
Very good. I see Robert is supportive. I am supportive. Mitch and Bill, how do you feel about it?
Donating the land's fine with me, Ron.
Thank you, Mitch. Bill?
Option 1's good, Ron. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Okay, so I'll ask staff to go ahead. If we want that in a resolution at a future meeting, we'll do that.
Thank you.
Okay, very good, thank you. The 7.6 is regards to the new OPP boards. There's changes coming there. Maury will speak to that.
And thank you, Mayor. And for Mayor and Council, some material was shared in the council package that came to us from the Solicitor General in March regarding the change from our local OPP police boards, which will transition now to OPP detachment boards. Some of the difference is that The detachment boards will be made up of a minimum of 20% of a community representation from the communities that the detachment area services, and a minimum of 20% of provincial appointees. So what that means is our local OPP police board will no longer exist, and the new detachment board will have a minimum of 5 members that will be comprised of the Superior East Regional Detachment area, which includes the area between outside of Chapleau, Folliette, between Folliette, Chapleau, Hornpain, White River, Duberville, Wawa, and will include First Nation communities such as Mitprecotton First Nation, Chapleau Cree, Missinabee, and the unorganized areas in between, such as Hawk Junction. So there will be one detachment board to represent the entire region rather than just a Wawa board. And what I put towards forward to council in a memo was just to update council that we have as a region community of partnerships up to June 7th if we want to submit a proposal on how we believe the detachment board should be constituted. And what that means is that with our partners, communities, and our First Nation partners in our region, putting in one proposal that hopefully we would all agree upon that would say we want a detachment board to consist of 1 member of unorganized areas, for example, 1 member from Wawa. I mean, the options, of course, are unlimited, but we have until June 7th to work with our partner communities to put a proposal in. So with the mayor on side, we've made outreach to the Solicitor General's office requesting a virtual training presentation for all of the communities in our area to participate in. We're waiting a response from the ministry to set a date, and then we will extend an invitation to all our partners, the members of the Wawa board, local police board, and anyone who would be interested in participating in that training, and coordinate with our partners how we would move forward to respond to the proposal June 7th. So it's more an update.
Yeah. So, you know, as the largest community in this region, we're certainly taking the initiative to get the ball rolling on this. We get a little bit of education on what's going to transpire, and then follow through with likely some kind of Zoom meeting with all the various communities and put a proposal forward. But a lot of organizing there. There's quite a, besides the municipalities, we're looking at several First Nations communities as well. So lot of work to do in a short period of time. And I noticed we have to have something in place by June 7th. The Police Services Board, your next meeting is not to June 23rd. So I'm assuming that you're not weighing in on this other than as a councillor, Robert. When we have future updates or meetings, we'll certainly let you know, and you can pass any information on to the current board. But it will be quite an endeavor to bring all of those communities together for board meetings. I imagine things may look different with future boards. So that's our initiative to get this going, and we'll follow up and we'll keep council informed as to where that goes. Okay. So thank you. That concludes all of our new business. There's no in camera. Our next meeting is Tuesday, April 20th. We have a resolution moved by Pat to adjourn. All in favor of adjourning? 1, 2, 3 people on the radio or on phone.
Aye.
That's enough. We're adjourned. Thank you. We'll move straight into regular, and then we'll take a pause between regular and the close. So I'll call this meeting to order and note the members present. We have the same council members present. I believe John McDonald is off the line. And Dan was off the line.
Dan is back.
And Dan's back, okay. So we'll just move ahead. Disclosure of pecuniary interests. Seeing, I'll move to approval of the agenda. We have a mover and a seconder. Do you want to read the resolution?
Moved by Councillor Tate, seconded by Councillor Hatfield. Resolved that the agenda for the regular meeting of council scheduled for Tuesday, April 6, 2021 be approved as presented.
All in favor? It's carried. Thank you. No delegations or presentations. Item 5, we have a list of the upcoming meetings. I ask you to just note those. Adoption of minutes. We have a resolution to adopt the minutes of Tuesday, March 16th and Tuesday, March 23rd.
Moved by Councillor Reese, seconded by Councillor Chasson. Resolved that the following minutes of the meetings of council be adopted as presented. Minutes of a regular meeting of council held on Tuesday, March 16, 2021, as contained on pages 1 through 8, inclusive of the minute book. B, minutes of a special meeting of council held on Tuesday, March 23, 2021, as contained on pages 1 to 3, inclusive of the minute book.
All in favor? Carried. Thank you. Item 7, we have a list of correspondence for your information. Does anybody have any questions or wish to raise anything from the list of correspondence? Hearing none, we'll move to the consent agenda. We have a resolution.
Moved by Councillor Tate, seconded by Councillor Hatfield. Resolved that the items listed under consent agenda, items 8.2 to 8.3, be approved as recommended.
Questions? All in favor? It's carried. Thank you. 8.2, we have a resolution to receive minutes.
It's under the consent agenda.
Oh, okay. It just said it was listed here.
Oh,
site
sorry.
plan.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. I thought that. Okay, so we'll move to item 9, staff reports. Oh, do we have, also it's listed that there's a resolution for accept the funding. Is that part of the?
The consent.
Okay, very good. You'll have that out later. Receive staff reports resolution.
Moved by Councillor Tate, seconded by Councillor Reese. Resolved that the Council of the Corporation Municipality of Ottawa does hereby receive the following staff reports, a copy of which are attached here too. A, CAO 2021-01, Municipal Partnership, new OPP detachment, and B, DB 2021-03, report for the month of March 2021.
Any further questions on those reports? None, all in favor?
Aye.
Carried. Under new business, also under new business, we have the accept the annual statement of remuneration and expenses for municipal council and boards. We have a resolution.
Moved by Councillor Tate, seconded by Councillor Hatfield. Whereas the Municipal Act 2021, Chapter 25, Section 284 provides that the treasurer of every municipality shall, on or before the 31st day of March in each year, submit to the Council of the municipality an itemized statement of remuneration and expenses paid to each member of council in respect to his or her services as a member of council or an officer of the municipal corporation in the preceding year, and to each person in respect to his or her services as a member of a local board or other body in the preceding year. And whereas council and board member remuneration is in accordance with the municipal bylaws, and whereas the treasurer of the corporation municipality of Ottawa prepared the statement of remuneration and expenses for council and board members for the year 2020. Now therefore be it resolved that the Council of the Corporation Municipality of Ottawa does hereby accept the 2020 statement of remuneration and expenses for council and board members, which is attached here too.
Are there any questions? I have one comment. I'm listed down as a member of the Police Services Board, which I am not. So if that could be removed, there was no remuneration beside my name in that category. So we're okay that way, but that should be removed. Seeing no other questions, I'll call it. All in favor? 1, 2, 3.
Aye.
4. Thank you, Bill. 1.2, we can do 11.2, we can do that verbal now.
Yes.
That would be moved by Robert and seconded by Pat.
Okay, so moved by Councillor Reese, seconded by Councillor Tate, resolved that the Council of the Corporation Municipality does hereby grant permission to Telic Engineering to proceed with the detailed design with the bike lanes on Magpie Street and tendering for the school zone project, and this would now conclude the Class E8 requirements.
Okay, that's a follow-up to the presentation, so they can go ahead, and we've added in and noted the addition of the bike lanes on Magpie as requested by council. If there are no further questions, all in favor? That
Aye.
That's carried. Thank you very much. Nothing under notice of motion, under bylaws, we first, second, and third reading.
Moved by Councillor Chason, seconded by Councillor Reese, resolved that the following bylaws be introduced and read first, second, and third time and finally passed, that the mayor and clerk do sign and seal the same. Any rule of this council to the contrary notwithstanding. Bylaw number 3377-21 to confirm the proceedings of council at its meeting held on the 23rd day of March 2021 and the 6th day of April 2021. Bylaw number 3378-21 to enter into a lease agreement with Noralgo Investments Limited for the lease of premises located at 63B Broadway Avenue, Wawa, for the Seniors Club. Bylaw number 3379-21 to authorize the Corporation Municipality of Wawa to enter an agreement with the Wawa Goose Club respecting the lease of 63B Broadway Avenue to be utilized as a Seniors Club. Bylaw number 3380-21 to authorize civil marriage solemnization services in the Municipality of Wawa. Bylaw number 3381-21 to enter into an agreement with Her Majesty the Queen, a right of Ontario as represented by the Ontario Fire Marshal for the Fire Safety Grant Program.
Any questions on those bylaws? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
It's carried. Thank you. We have a motion to move into closed session.
Moved by Councillor Hatfield, seconded by Councillor Tate, resolved that this committee proceed in camera at 8:21 p.m. in order to address the following matters pertaining to education. 3 items: council training for policies related to the purpose of educating or training members.
All in favor?
Aye.
Carried. Thank you. We're going to move into closed session. I believe Kathy has given people call-in numbers, so we'll make those changes. We'll take a few minutes as soon as someone has called in.
Does everybody have that number to call in?
No, I don't, Kathy.
Can we stop the, just
Can
one
we
more,
get that
please.
number?
Yeah, just one more, please.
Kathy, can you still hear me?
Yes, Mitch, I can hear you.
Thank you.
No.